Hello everyone, we are here with the Red Rocket today because we are assembling the straight axle. I finally got everything I needed to assemble the front end on this thing, and I am really excited about it. I've already done some things. I couldn't help myself. I had to do some things, and with the straight axle itself, I wanted to make sure everything fit, wanted to make sure I didn't have any hiccups with it. So let's see what I've done and what I have left to do. So let's get to it. All right, gonna start off with the leaf springs. Got all the hardware for them. So I assembled the hardware on the leaf springs. I don't think it matters which side is which. So I assembled them, got all the hardware on there, and these right here are ready to be welded to the straight axle itself. Once we get the frame in and can get the final position on stuff, that's when those will be welded onto the straight axle. And one other thing not related to the straight axle and front end stuff, I got the gas tank. That is a 15-gallon fuel cell. Those are the hold downs that I may or may not use depending on how I decide to mount this stuff. But I love where it's sitting, so I'm gonna have to make sure that whatever I do with the floor does not raise it up too much, because I really love the way that's sitting. Anyway, back to the straight axle. This is what it looks like assembled, and it rotates nicely. I have the kingpins greased, but I do not have the wheel bearings greased yet, because I'm just doing a dry fit. I'm going to take off later to do the final greasing and everything on there. So that's just no grease on there right now. But this is what it looks like. It went together pretty nicely. It turns smoothly. And one thing I did notice is that the kit, unless I'm just missing it, the kit did not come with the hardware for the brake pads. So definitely gonna have to look into that to get some. If I know what the rotors are off of and pads are off of, I could definitely just get some through local parts houses for that. But anyway, let's get back to that side and let's get it put together. All right, here we go. Got all my parts sitting around me. So I'm missing my socket, so I'm gonna have to get up. But let's go ahead and get this spindle on. One thing that I would highly recommend if you're getting this kit, first off, everything I've used, every bolt, every washer, everything has been purchased from Speedway Motors. I am not sponsored. I did spend a good bit of money on this stuff. Not sponsored. Tried to get a little discount. They pretty much said no. So got this. I still got all this stuff. Speedway Motors is still a good company. So let's get to it. One thing I would highly recommend doing to this right here is getting one of these, a wheel cylinder hone. This wheel cylinder hone was able to basically not bore, but clean out these kingpin holes just enough for the kingpin to go through with light hammer taps. I almost got, when I was doing the first test fits on it, I almost got one of the kingpins stuck and was able to get it out without damaging it. So that, and it's got a little set screw right here, a little set screw that you got to back out before it'll drive in. So I've already test fit stuff. It comes with some shims and stuff, so I'm gonna get the shims in, get the bearings in, and knock it in. So let's get to it. when you're tapping this kingpin in, you want to line up this little indent right here with that set screw. So got that lined up. Got the bearing. All right, before I get any further, I'm gonna grab my some tools I forgot to grab to go ahead and get this set screw tightened down. All right, I got the set screw tight and the spindle is now on there. It is good. Forgot to mention that on the kingpin itself, it has a cone washer and a felt washer that goes underneath the head of the kingpin here. And let me see. Oh yeah. In the kit, I'm kind of scrambled here. I'm trying to get this video out. In the kit, it has this spacer that needs to be pressed onto the spindle on both sides, on both spindles, and I've already got that done. Also on the rotors, it wants you to replace the inner bearing race. I have also already done that on both of these. So now the next step is the brakes. Quick look at the other side, and that will go on there like that. Yeah, like that. I'm not gonna torque it to complete spec right now. This is just an assembly, mostly so I can get my tie rod bar length. I'm gonna put the torque specs on the screen for you here as I'm moving through, and we'll be torquing these to proper spec later on. This is just to get it assembled. But let me grab the hardware. I do apologize for the extra noise in the background. So neighbors a few houses down is having some kind of party, and they got bounce house and everything, so a little bit extra noise. That'll hold the top. I decided to go with the flat, flat steering arms that have the 5/8 through hole. So it will use a 5/8 bolt to go through. So all my steering system will be with heim joints instead of traditional tie rod joints. And to install these on these spindles, I will have all the part numbers that I purchased in the description. But to install these, you need the longer bolts with this spacer here. Without this spacer, these flat arms do not sit flush with the back side of these spindles, and that would be a problem. So I got everything. So how I'm going to install it, I'm gonna put the bolt through this way, and I'm gonna have the spacer on the back side. Gonna put the steering arm, washer, and then nut. Alright, that's it for that. This kit does include seals to go on the rotors, but like I said, I'm not going to be installing those right now. I'm not going to be greasing the rotor bearings right now, or wheel bearings. We'll be doing that later. Go ahead and get that on there. Alright, after the rotor's on, it has a spacer that goes on after the bearing. And it's got the spindle washer and spindle nut. And there we go. It's assembled. Once again, the wheel bearings will be greased. For now, it's just for a dry assembly to make sure everything fits. All right, now for the caliper and the brake pad. All right, one thing I did on the other side is I greased up the tip of the caliper bolts a little bit, because there is a small rubber O-ring in the caliper that this has to go through. So I'm just greasing those up a little bit so it can slide through without tearing or pushing out of the way. All right, and there we go. Straight axle is assembled. Got the leaf springs over there, got the brakes over here, the kingpin's on, everything looks good. Now I can measure for my tie rod bar length and be ready for whenever we weld this front frame rail in, which fingers crossed should be within the next couple weeks. So that's pretty much going to be it. Not going to show measuring any of this, because it's just making sure stuff is centered and measure and all that. So that's going to be it for this video. Kind of a short one, kind of a boring one, but just got to show the assembly of the straight axle for the Red Rocket. So that's going to be it for this video. Like I said, all the parts, all the bolts, everything in this video was purchased from Speedway Motors. It was pretty much a one-stop shop for everything straight axle, so it made it really easy. So there it is. That's going to be it for this video. If you liked the video, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Well, that was going to be the end of the video, but I got the wheels on. I got the leaf springs roughly sitting where they should sit, and I think I've got one of the some bolts and spacers and stuff out of order. So let's take a look at it. All right, this bracket is hitting right there, so I may have to take that washer and put it up against the spindle and then put the spacer and then put the arm. That should clear everything. It doesn't look like the spacer is loose. It looks like it's tight, but I don't like it touching right there. So I'm going to take later on, I'm going to take it back apart, put that washer on the spindle side, then put the spacer, then have the nut, then have the steering arm and the nut. So there it is. There's going to be the end of the video. It's assembled, looking good. Now we just got to get the frame in, and the Red Rocket will be rolling. So there it is. If you liked the video, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.